Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 197 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow Fremen people.
My name is Craig.
My name is still Craig.
I don't think the Fremen sound like that.
Fremens?
The Fremen from Dune?
Okay. I never finished the first one. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't?
There we go.
I found it extremely boring.
I did hear that as well.
Yep. That's okay.
I didn't see Dune 2, but I'm still going to watch it. Yeah, I need to see Dune 2. Well, what people also need to see is the news this week.
It's true.
There's a ton of it.
See it.
So
or listen to it.
Or listen to it.
They're not watching the video.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate here.
We love them both.
We don't. We do.
So we'll first talk about layoffs. Sony has done 900 layoffs. Laid off 900. Affected studios like Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, Insomniac. A lot. They're closing down their London studio as well. Yeah. So some stuff going on with gaming. And now I personally did not know why this was happening. So I took it upon myself to research as to why layoffs are happening in the gaming industry. Do you guys know why, or is it just me that lived under a rock?
I mean, besides the standard stuff, which would be like, finances, cutting down to see a profit in the quarter, like that kind of thing, or in the
year. Yeah.
New fiscal year.
So it is a little bit more than that. So this actually all stems from COVID. To think about it. So during COVID, and it makes sense now once you think about it. COVID was the time where all of these studios were buying all of these developer people. So, Sony was purchasing Bungie for $3.9 billion. And you have Microsoft purchasing, Activision for over $70 billion, or around $70 billion, I should say. So what ended up happening was during COVID, a lot of these developers were expanding because, one, you're working from home, and two, gaming was such a huge part of what COVID was. It was an extreme growth of that. And since that growth, they're not continuing growing, they're going down. So you hired all these people from COVID because you needed more people to work on games, because now you're working on them remotely and not in an office for the most part. And now that it's kind of flatlined, instead of seeing growth, they now need to, of course, cut people or fire people or let them go. So I personally did not know the reason why until I started researching as to why this stuff's happening, because it's happening at an unprecedented rate. Mm-hmm. And
it is.
It doesn't help that, to be fair, we expect more of games now than we ever have. But you didn't see this during the PS4 era, really. You're seeing it right now. It's happening to everybody, especially with like Embracer Group of a deal with the Saudi Arabian money public fund has fell through. So now they have to let go of some of their studios that they bought, because that deal didn't go through. So there's all these different things going on, and this is why these layoffs are happening. So I hope, of course, again, everybody finds good enough jobs or finds a way to be independent. But we have said on this podcast for a while that this developing or buying of developers and exclusivity was going to get worse before it gets better. And an example for Toys for Bob, which has now broken off from the Activision group and has gone independent, you can now release your games for whatever system you want. So I think at some point, we actually start to see the inverse of it happening, where these developers are like, you know what, we don't want to be part of this anymore. We're going to break off, give you whatever part of your money back, and they can go back to releasing games for multi-consoles. So it'll get better before it gets worse, but this is why this is happening. In case you are what's the word I was going to use for myself here? Entitled gamer that doesn't know what's going on with the industry. Is that what?
I was gonna say a termosaur, which is a connoisseur of why people are
Oh
termed,
man.
or a dinosaur that fires
Oh
people.
my
Anyway,
god. A Termosaur. Nice.
um, that is a good
I'm
take
gonna
though,
need a
Barry.
stronger
Barry,
drink for that one.
Barry, I'm glad you dove into that though, because I think that at some point, now COVID seems like a decade ago, but also it seems like a month ago. In like a weird sense. So, I mean, it kind of it makes a lot more sense after you describe it that way because I don't know, gaming took just such a boom. I know we cite Animal Crossing and Switches as like one of the main things that you saw in that time frame, but like all of gaming benefited from people being at home, people hybrid working as things were still opening up. I got a couple of buddies that are still in hybrid working because a lot of companies found out you could just do that now.
Yeah.
But in any case, it was going to slow down significantly from that time frame no matter what, so it's 2024. We're seeing it. It's crazy to see it hit like Insomniac and some of these bigger studios. Insomniac, essentially, I mean, I think the gaming community jokingly calls Insomniac the studio that basically carries PlayStation because of how often they are pumping out hits. But nobody's safe.
Yeah.
I know we cover a lot of layoffs on this platform, but nobody is safe apparently. So
Yeah, it
Yeah, we might have
sucks.
to cut costs. Our podcast, maybe we have to cut costs soon.
Too expensive.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're all three of us
it's
far too expensive.
Yep.
It's the lighting. We pay too much for lighting. Do you mind if I sneak a segment in there just because you mentioned COVID?
Is it a
Yes.
TikTok segment?
No, I wish. Do you guys remember the GTA 6 leak?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so earlier this week, Rockstar released an email to their staff indicating that there is no longer remote working allowed because of that leak. I had to say, just you made me think remote working just because of just COVID and such like that. But I don't think we think of the standard Rockstar employee who maybe had nothing to do with that leak at all, and now because like I don't know, as somebody who does remote working but has friends who had that dreaded like you're going back to work. I remember talking to my friends in the last 3 years of, oh, I actually have to go back to work. I'm so used to it. My dog knows where I am now, like that type of thing.
Yep.
But I thought that was a little interesting, smaller segment that came out this week, is Rockstar is no longer allowing that due to that leak.
That happened so
But
long ago.
Feels like
The
it did.
the
Yeah.
leak, What was that, like
Yeah.
last year, the year before, maybe?
It was last
I
year.
think it was
It was last
last.
year.
It was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they're like, well, that's a good enough excuse to make people come back to work. Because
There you
for
go.
whatever reason, it does seem like some companies are just like dead set against it. Even though like I personally feel like people are just as productive, most people at home as they are in an office. I think hybrid is fine if you want to make people come back, but I guess I just don't see the like no more remote work thing. Unless you're just seeing such a decline in performance, then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. You save on a lot of utilities that you would utilize in order to keep workers there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Craig.
All right. So we'll go on to a little bit of better news now, where we had
Yeah.
the Pokemon Day that happened.
Yeah.
Is that better news?
Yes, it
It is
is.
for Barry. He's
It is for
excited.
me.
I know. I'm joking. I'm joking.
It wasn't a very long Pokemon Presents, but the bigger announcements are pretty much two. One is Pokemon TCG Pocket. It
Yeah.
is a mobile. It's going to be a mobile version of TCG. I'm not sure if it's replacing the one that I constantly play way too much of. And what it is it seems to really focus on collecting. And I'm gonna. This probably is a hot take, but probably not really. Isn't just this is pretty much like Pokemon NFTs. It feels like this feels like,
Mm.
oh, these are trading cards and we're working on collectability, and like NFTs are usually one of one, but
Yeah.
there's going to be there is going to be monetary value in some of the cards that you're packing.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lighter version of apparently the way we play Pokemon. I don't really know how you make it any lighter. It's not too terrible to understand once you play it once or twice. And on top of that, they're giving you 2 free packs a day, which is a
Okay.
little dangerous.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool.
Side note, Barry, because I
Yes.
know that you'll probably know the answer because I didn't quite get it. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. Like I could be down with getting packs, but did they say like a price per pack,
No, so
or is
they
it just
haven't
like you
said
get 2 free a day?
no. So, and here's the thing that I'm a little worried about, and
Mm-hmm.
I've from the podcasts I listen to also be worried about. So, their advertising is you will be given 2 free packs a day. I
Okay.
am going to go with there is going to be a way to buy packs
Mm-hmm.
physically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whether what that monetary value is yet, they're probably still trying to figure out. But for a company that goes very toward steering toward children, I think that's a very dangerous precedent to set.
Yeah.
You're getting two
Yeah.
free packs a day. You're going to have kids who are, oh man, I love opening packs. Packs are fun. And they seem to be putting a lot of attention into how you open a pack.
Mm-hmm.
The guy swipes his
Yeah.
finger, it makes a little crinkling sound. It seems like it is very much an experience that they're trying to give to people. And to be fair, it is a very addicting experience. I
Yep.
collect Pokemon cards. I
Yes.
collect Fire Emblem Cipher. That's dead though. But regardless of that, it is a very addicting thing. It is like gambling, especially when
Yeah.
you find a card or your favorite Pokemon or a high value card that you're looking for. And I just think it's dangerous to set, okay, these kids are going to be able to open 2 free packs a day. God forbid their parents' card is linked to their account if they need to buy something on their phone. And now you have kids buying these packs. And again, that's more parents to make
Right.
sure that, there are rules and limitations on what they do. But like suggesting something is free or like giving kids the notion that something is free but then giving them a way to buy it as well. I definitely see like a little bit of a dangerous thing here. I hope it's not too expensive because me personally as an adult, I probably will buy some packs to see how it feels and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I
So
also have my own money and I'm not linked to my parents.
what if, and again, this is just like hypothetical,
Yeah.
in the Roblox world, right? And I know this from when my kid was younger. If you went to like Target and you bought a Roblox figure, right? That's
Uh-huh.
like $5. There was a code in the box for a free digital item. Do you think they would do a thing where it's like if you went out and bought a pack of Pokemon cards, there would be a digital code for a digital pack?
So Pokemon does that now.
Okay. With the other one.
With the version that I play,
Okay.
like
Do you think they switch?
that's what I'm confused of.
Right.
This seems to be very in the aspect of collecting.
Right.
Whereas like I'm pretty sure in the TCG app that I play, you really can't buy packs. Like you earn them through playing climbing ladder and doing rewards, blah 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 blah. And I think it's different. Like I don't know if they bring out another set of packs. Like we have you have the TCG version that works for this, but then you also bring out a thing of physical packs that work with this. I don't think they're going to do that. Because the whole point of this digital portion is that and you saw some of the features, you can go into the artwork, for
Yeah.
example, and explore more of the scene and stuff like that. So I truly don't know how it's all going to work, but it's supposed to release sometime this year, and I will be interested to see. I like collecting Pokemon cards. I don't see it like replacing I prefer to do physically. I am a physical. All of most of my media is physical. The cards I collect are physical. I'm physical.
See,
It's
Yeah.
that was my next question, and I wanted like your expert opinion, Barry and
expert.
Craig.
Yeah, hit him at me.
Depending.
Push on my glasses.
I so like I wanted to know, like, does this announcement have any effect on the physical collecting world? Like I got a friend who like sells them,
Mhm.
and does that for his gig. And like does this have any weight on the physical selling world,
I
or
think it
is it just
will.
not as impactful?
I think it
Okay.
will, but not to the extent like people still like and again we're leaning back toward COVID. Collecting cards became a way to pass the time.
Yeah.
During COVID, sports cards became incredibly valuable. Pokemon became and still to this day is still riding I think the high from COVID and people collecting their cards. I think what this allows is a way to not have a physical binder and a collection on your phone that can be easily tradable and played with through something that you always have on you. Like if you go to any Pokemon event, Pokemon trading card event, you have to bring your binder, you have to bring all this stuff with you. This is all on your phone. Um,
Yeah.
we've kind of seen it with Pokemon Go, where in this particular case, let's say you want to do like an event, people don't need to bring stuff with them; they just need to bring their phones, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
True.
So, and that's already on you. So just keep that in mind. I'm excited for it. I
Yeah.
The TCG portion I really don't know about. I like the app that I currently play with. I hope they don't change it too much, but the collecting portion I absolutely see the value in that. Absolutely.
Interesting. I'm gonna follow like what it looks like when it gets launched more closely now because of this
Well,
conversation.
For
with
sure.
Because like I'm
with
there's
with
a
two
couple of
free
things I'm
packs,
more
yeah,
interested.
with 2 free packs a day, you could download it
Two
and
free.
not have
Yeah,
to.
but you know those 2 free packs, you're not going to get anything good in.
Yeah, they're
You're gonna get a
probably
bunch of
Yep.
Yep.
EVs. You're gonna
Hey,
get a bunch of
Eevee is adorable.
EVs
I'll,
every
I'll
time.
collect all of those.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair.
And lastly, I'll say the big thing from we are getting a new Pokemon Legends game, which I am very excited about. Uh Legends made me feel stuff for Pokemon again. It is based
Okay.
it is based on the Kalos region, the 6th gen, which is not what we expected. But what
Mhm.
also is coming back is Mega Evolutions, which is also one of the best iterations of evolution that they did. And it's coming out in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Switch 2 game
Yep.
perhaps
Yeah.
is what
Yep.
Most definitely.
is what I'm thinking as well, or it's going to be one of those things like they did with Zelda where it releases for the previous gen and for the newer gen console that they do. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. But Craig, I saw you nodding your head no. Are you not excited for this?
Absolutely not.
Is it because you're not a Pokemon guy, or is it because you're not
No, because the last one was garbage.
No, Legends was not
Well, this
garbage.
is
Legends was not garbage.
It was bad. It was bad.
It
I'll,
didn't run
that's
great.
that's
It
a hill I am willing to not die on, but that is one I'm willing to debate. I don't. That game was not Pokemon to me, and I know it was like the big like try something new, but it looked bad.
and I loved it. I loved
Ugh.
every s- I
I
loved
saw
every
that. I
second
was
of
like
it.
another one of those. I was really hoping for a remaster of one of the older gens.
I was too. I
Yeah.
wanted
yeah.
Gen 2 remastered.
Yep.
Or at
Okay.
least I was really hoping they were going to announce the Pokemon games on the NSO app. But we
Yeah.
didn't get that.
Yep.
That would have been a great way to do it. Even if I have to buy them again, I'll buy some of them.
100%.
Oh, most
Because
definitely.
you can't buy them on the DS anymore. So it's hard. It's hard to play these games in a legal manner now.
Right.
No, but yeah, I'm super excited. Megas are coming back, which I'm very happy about, and I loved Legends. I'll die
I
on that
remember.
hill.
I remember you saying how much you enjoyed it.
And I agree, it's buggy. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
No game on the Switch looks great, to be honest.
True. True.
Anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anymore. But
2019, it looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
but this is the first year we aren't getting a new Pokemon release,
Yeah, it's
unless
weird.
there is new stuff. To other side projects, whether it's a mystery dungeon, Pokemon Ranger, or maybe we still get the older gen games remastered or released on NSO through a Nintendo Direct in June or something like that. I think
Yeah.
June's 3 months away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. This would have been the year that I would want a huge Pokemon release because of Pow World
Yeah.
to see what how that release would do because of it. And that's just like an experiment and like just for me, just to see. But yeah, you're right.
They did this because like they went, oh, Power World's out. We don't need to release a Pokemon game this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe they don't want to compete.
I don't
Give-
think it's so much
give-
about that. Pokemon will sell no matter what.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of course.
Pikachu sits on a mountain high money mountain taller than the
Yeah.
Empire State
Yeah.
Building.
True. Very true.
Well, maybe Game Freak gets a year to get some new ideas.
I think
Maybe.
it gives them time to work on the game, to work on a game for the new console, which is heavily
Yeah.
rumored
Yeah.
to be 2025, early
Right.
2025 now. So I'm all for it. I think Legends released, I think in January or February.
It was January.
Like,
it
okay,
was
and like
right at the
early.
beginning of the year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was early. So maybe they do something similar, and if anything, maybe that Switch 2 is coming out in January. I highly doubt it, but it's probably March. But regardless, a small, not so much announced Pokemon Presents, but a successful one in my eyes.
Fair.
Already talked about Toys for Bob going independent. Leap Day seemingly breaking games. It was kind of a funny thing that that went on this time around. Games like EA Sports WRC and Final Fantasy Final Bar Theta Rhythm did not work because the internal clocks in the game code did not have Leap Day programmed for it. So just
That's amazing.
that it's funny. It absolutely is.
It is funny.
EA Sports released a statement that said, "Hey, if you want your game to play, you need to switch the internal clock on your console, and it'll fix it." Of course. So
Yeah. Or
I just thought it was hilarious that
No, that's really
that
funny.
game developers didn't think, "Oh, yeah, this is a leap year."
Yeah.
But
That's good.
I have one more that I'll get around to. I have a feeling, Craig, you probably have it. So I'll let you guys go into the news. Yeah.
Ooh,
Maybe
Craig, go
I do,
ahead.
maybe I don't.
I think you do.
I only have a couple. I only have a couple because I have a rant brewing, and you guys knew it was coming.
Yeah.
All right. First one, Respawn. We're all excited that they're working on something new in the Star Wars game. Yeah, that's gone. Canceled.
Canceled.
Can we just let them work on something else? Please? Besides Apex all the time? Please?
Yeah.
Apex still can't possibly be raking in that much money. Like I don't.
They just did the Final
I know.
Fantasy event.
I know, but
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
just let them do something else. I feel like they're being held hostage at this point. They're like, please let us work on something. No, you're going to make more skins for Apex and you're going to like it. We have people like Barry who are going to spend the money.
I haven't spent money in that game in a while. Come
Yes,
some slack.
you just did. When we were playing like a week or two ago, you were buying packs, weren't you?
Ooh, he's caught.
No, I bought the season pass.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. All right, fair.
I didn't buy packs. I bought the season pass.
I spent like $30 on the Final Fantasy event.
I see. I didn't do any of that. So now you're
Okay.
worse than me.
No. Because how much did you spend for your Loba stuff?
Well, you mean my Watson heirloom?
Yeah, your Watson heirloom.
Yeah, that was bad. That was about $150.
$150. Okay. Anyway,
Sick.
free
I love
free
that.
Rebirth, please. Let them work on something else.
You
Or
mean
not
Respawn?
Rebirth, Respawn. Sorry, that goes
Respawn.
into my next
He's in
one,
Final Fantasy mode right now.
I know. Well, it was all.
Yeah,
It was
he's
also
totally-
the next thing on my list, and I was looking at. So Rebirth. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I just wanted to put this in there because I thought it was interesting and made me a little upset here. 150 to 200 hours to platinum the game is the average.
Big game.
That's way too much. I know, like, we're gonna get into the game and how we feel about it, but no game should take that long to platinum. I'm sorry. It made me a little upset. And am I gonna do it? No, I don't platinum games. Do you guys still platinum games?
I don't.
Not usually.
Yeah.
I have a hard time finishing games anyway. You
Yeah.
guys know.
Yo,
this.
amen,
It's-
brother.
it's
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, we're all gonna finish Final
So-
Fantasy, but like, I don't see any of us
yeah.
being like, "Oh man, I got to spend 200 hours to platinum this game."
No, not at all. That's insane.
Yeah. Now, you guys didn't even platinum like Persona 5.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm too
I wonder
focused on the
I wonder how
calendar.
close I am. To be
You've
honest.
played it how many times?
Well, Craig has had to have, yeah.
I have, but I tend to be very. You guys are gonna hate me even more. I tend to be very similar in my
You
playthroughs because
played
I'm like
this
obviously the
same exact way?
no, not the well, like the goal. You have a system where you're trying to meet with everybody by by like the end of the school year. So like you have to do stuff in a similar order, otherwise certain people aren't available on certain. Barry, I'm not going to explain it to you. You know Persona, Craig. That's what you have to do for
Yeah,
Persona, Craig.
but like at least something
What do you mean,
different will
yeah,
change
bud?
up the gameplay a little bit.
Yeah.
But what have you
It's not.
romanced Anne every single time?
No, it's not that bad. No, there's just probably a couple of trophies I haven't gotten because I maybe didn't go like I don't know, as hard in one of the areas or something like that where I just played, or maybe I ran out of like MP or whatever. Like, don't judge me.
No, we're judging. The amount of
Don't
times you
judge me.
played through that game, I would have assumed you would have platinumed it,
Absolutely, yeah. I would have
or
I'm
assumed.
just
yeah.
I'm just a kid that wants to go to the same Chuck E. Cheese, eat the same slice of
Sure.
pizza, and play the
He
same
wants
games, get the
Groundhog's
same
Day.
amount of
He
tickets.
wants to
Yeah.
be in that movie. It's that he wouldn't find anything wrong with it. He'd be okay with it as long as it was going to Chuck E. Cheese and playing Persona 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's as easy as rewatching The Office. It's that just
I can't even remember the last game that I like got all the achievements or all the trophies for. It's been a long time.
I don't know why. I've never been that type of gamer. I have never been like continue playing a game if I finished and then I needed to get this trophy or
I
that
used to
trophy.
be.
I don't know. Yeah, I know that that's a big thing
Yeah.
in your gaming history. Yeah.
Actually, to be
Interesting.
fair, I played through Super Lucky's Tale like in November, December of last year, and I think I got all the achievements in that.
Gotcha.
But that was like 10 hours. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was a huge thing. All right, last thing I have, everybody knew, you guys knew this was coming. So I think we need to take a hard look, and I know you guys will be against
We
me
lost a
on
good
this.
soldier today, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We lost one.
I think it's time that everybody takes a step back and looks at physical gaming. And I did some digging around because I had plenty of time on Thursday and Friday this week when my copy of Final Fantasy didn't come in, that I was not the only one. There was actually quite a few people. And I'll even name drop here. For me, it was Amazon, right? I pre-ordered Final Fantasy. It told me it would be there on Thursday. Now UPS, my UPS doesn't come until 8 p.m. I'm like one of the last stops. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, worst case scenario, 8 o'clock Thursday. Maybe I play for an hour or two and then I have all day Friday. It didn't come Thursday. It didn't come Friday. As of right now, it says it'll be here Tuesday. So by the time this goes up, supposedly I'll have it. But at that point, I just ran out to my local Target and bought a copy anyway. And then I'm just going to return the Amazon one. All that being said, I think it was more of a turning point for me to be like, I can fully understand the digital argument now. And I feel like I might actually be in the digital camp now. Now, to be fair, I did go this weekend and pre-order WWE, which comes out this week. But I did do it as like I'm going to go into the store and pick it up on Friday. I'm not doing like shipping is such a mess and unreliable, not just for games. In general, shipping is unreliable at best. I think the days of getting games guaranteed on release day are gone, right? If we all three of us
Yeah.
pre-order a game, whenever we do that, at least one of us has a delay every single time.
Almost, yeah.
Every single time.
Every single time. And it shouldn't be that way, especially when you're trying to sell copies, but it does go into the fact that video game companies, in my opinion, do not care about physical anymore. They really don't. It costs them more money, and they would just as rather you buy it digitally, where it costs them literally nothing to give you the code. That being said, there are some games that I want, like Final Fantasy. I wanted that physical, but I think for the most part, everything else, I think I'm a digital guy now. I think that it's really kind of pushed me over the edge. This was like the one game. There's always one game a year that you're really looking forward to. And for me this year, when I look at all of them, it was Final Fantasy. And to be like, not even get it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just to continuously not have it, and to have to go buy another copy in a store. If I pre-order it, I shouldn't have to go to a store the day of or the day after and get a copy. I shouldn't. Gaming industry is doing well enough that they should be able to. It's not the gaming industry. It's the individual retailers, really, right? Um, and Amazon was one that I've always not really had a problem with. I don't know about you guys, but like,
That's what I was gonna say. They've been more
yeah,
reliable than other retailers for
yeah,
me. Like when I've purchased through them. That's the crazy
yeah.
thing.
But I think just the convenience of I can download and install the game a week ahead of time, and when it hits midnight on that day, I can just hit play. Not that I play at midnight anymore because I'm old. So when I get up the next morning, I can hit play and it's good to go. Just beats having to look out the window waiting for the post office or UPS or FedEx. Um, I just think it's superior in every way. And I know we like to have the physical on the shelf. And like if the day comes where I can't access these 360 games, I have them over here. But I think in my mind, the ones I don't care as much about, I think I'm all digital all the time now, unfortunately. And I know you guys are going to fight against that, aren't you?
No, I can't
Actually,
fight. I can't fight against you for that.
All right.
You usually get more stuff, even
Yeah,
from doing
true.
like they usually give you more. I understand it, but it just hurts that my fellow homie he didn't get his game on time, and now I've lost another
mm,
a friend
Yep.
in the physical console or physical disc side. But I get it, especially like MLB the Show, like that's
Mhm.
coming out here in March. They have their Negro Leads edition. That
Yeah,
yeah, I said it.
it's fine. Yep.
that's yeah, it's fine.
but it's the same thing. Like they're doing the
Yeah.
thing where you buy this, better edition of the game for $100, comes with a
Right.
collectible steelbook, a hat, but the game is digital. Like why is this a thing?
Yeah.
Like if I wanted the hat, you could just buy it from someone third party. You're getting like the steel book that looks good but has nothing inside of it. I don't know why. Like you've already made so much of this physical stuff. Why are you just not putting the game in it? It blows my
Yeah.
mind.
This started with the digital codes in the super expensive collector editions, remember?
Yeah, it did.
Like
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
Horizon.
Yep.
Horizon.
It's the
Horizon.
Yep.
same thing with Spider-Man 2
Yep.
with
Oh,
with that
Spider-Man 2
edition.
didn't have a physical?
Not on the collector's edition. Nope.
No, it
I had to
didn't.
go.
No, it didn't.
Jeez.
We did get our 9 inches of Venom, but not a not
That's
a
crazy.
I know.
Not like a what is it? It's like a six discs are like 6 inches, right? Probably
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Yeah. I I guess like at this point I'm looking at it as 15 years from now. I don't know how old are 360 games now. 20 years, 15 years? Fif-
Something like
15?
that. Yeah, depending on the
Yeah.
release.
15 years from now, I'm trying to think of the games I bought in digitally. Alan Wake 2, um, Red Dead Redemption 2, which I still haven't beaten, but I bought that digitally. Like those type of games, are they still going to be available if I turn on my Xbox in 15 years? Maybe, maybe not. But at that point, can I go get a physical copy for cheap? Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I guess that's the chance you take, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, all our
I
PC
guess
games are digital.
yeah, that's right. That's a good point. But like I'm like in the halfway because like I'm leaning towards digital now
Mhm.
more. Like for example, I did pre-order physical Stellar Blade. I was impressed enough.
My
I think if
man.
I actually I think if I thought about I think I honestly did it just because I was convinced enough that I was going to like it. But I don't know, outside of Rebirth, and I mean, if Shadow of the Erd Tree was actually like a new Elden Ring game,
Right.
then I would have pre-ordered physical. But I'm leaning towards like if it's like an Alan Wake 2, if it's a Spider-Man, if it's like something like that, then I'm gonna get physical. But if I'm unsure of the game and I'm buying it, like I'll do a good example, Rise of
Yeah.
Ronin. Number one, not pre-ordering it.
Right.
If I do end up seeing good reviews, I'm just going to buy that digital. I don't need that physical copy. I'm not invested in Rise of Ronin. I don't have stake in it. I don't have a family member that's on the development team. So that's just like a random one. I think I'm transitioning to 5 games or less, depending, non-Switch games.
Yeah.
I will say non-Switch games to cover my bases here, but 4 or 5 non-Switch games getting physical a year, pre-ordering,
Okay.
if that. I don't know. Don't hold me to
have
it.
any of us buy Switch games digitally? Because I don't.
I
still
don't.
buy
No, they're
those
always physical. Yeah, they're all
Yep.
physical.
Yeah.
All physical.
I don't think I've ever bought anything off the Nintendo store. On the
I
Switch.
have, I think, because like some of the games, like
Some
they,
are only-
yeah, some of them are just on digital wise. I
Okay.
think for a while,
Yeah.
like Trails of Cold Steel, like 4 or
Mhm.
something, that took a while. Like it was out in digital long before it became physical,
Okay.
and then they made a physical edition. So then at that point, it's like, well, I'm not buying a physical edition for it.
Plus,
No.
if you go back, I distinctly remember the 360 PS3 era. That's when you really started seeing buy digital coming around. But at the time, it was like, okay, Infamous 2 on PS3. I can walk into a GameStop and buy Infamous 2 for $39.99. But on the PlayStation Store, it's been $59.99 since the day it came out, and it never has gone on sale. So I'm going to buy physical. Now, they always have sales. Always. So that was always my argument. Like, oh, it's always more expensive digital because they never do sales. Now you turn on your Xbox, specifically your Xbox, it's like sale, 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 sale. And you're like, oh wow, look at that price. And the same thing with PlayStation. So like they're trying. They really are. And I get it. Like the idea of having to mass produce these discs that don't even have anything on them anyway, except like the key to run the game. And then you go and download the whole game anyway. Looking at you, Final Fantasy 7, and your
160 gigs.
Jesus.
Yeah, for real.
But anyway, digital for me, I guess. That's all I had.
No, I love that rant. Speaking of Final Fantasy, we can go right to it because a lot of the news I had was all of the layoffs that we already talked about.
Sweet.
So all the many layoffs.
The only other small thing I wanted to mention was that Remedy now owns Control.
Yeah.
They bought the rights back from 505 Games.
They got Control.
So they did. I'm gonna need to get another drink.
Yep.
Regardless, what it looks like, and that's a good thing because it looks like hopefully Remedy is doing something with Control in the Alan Wake universe on their own. Like they wanted that universe and that character enough to buy the rights for that back. So I'm all cool with it because apparently they also own anything tied to that franchise.
Sweet.
So they're most likely working on something already. Whether it's Control.
They've been working on Control forever.
Yeah. So when they're working on Control 2, it'll also be under the oath of Remedy. So
cool.
I just think that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, games this week. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. We all played it, all varying hours in. I'm only 4 hours in. The reason I'm not more is because I bought the Splatoon 3 DLC to play Side Order.
Okay. Side Order. Okay.
Side Order.
Okay.
Obviously Final Fantasy. I just wanted to hit on real quick, like 30 seconds, since I was waiting for my Final Fantasy this past weekend. I finally got to the point in Infinite Wealth on Dondoka Island. And I just wanted to say that, like, I think I've done like 7 or 8 days at this point. I think it just hits at the right time where you're like, you've done a whole bunch of stuff in the story, and then it's a nice break. And I was almost a little disappointed that Final Fantasy came out. I was like, oh man, hopefully I come back to it. And I think I will when I'm done with Final Fantasy, but it's like super relaxing. Like, let me go clear the trash. Let me build some buildings. And I didn't get into Animal Crossing like everybody else did. I played it for like a week, but this, I was like, this is so much better. I don't have to wait for the next day. I can just advance the day.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's so good. Like, I cannot stress enough that like it just comes in at the perfect time in the game where you're like, I could use a little bit of a break. Here you go. Go do this for 10, 15 hours or longer if you want to. I just wanted to say it's awesome. That's all.
I'm glad you got
Yeah.
there. It's definitely a nice break, and you're right. It really kind of takes you away from the story for a second, puts you in a happy place where you have a different
Yeah.
task or tasks, you know. But it's good. It's such a great thing, a great time.
Yeah. Are you
And
just Final Fantasy, Craig?
Oh my God, yeah.
No Persona 5 sprinkled in there again?
No Persona 5 sprinkled in, and I put Infinite Wealth on hold. I'm in chapter 10, and Persona 3 I'm actually playing sporadically because it's not as in depth.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm 10 hours
10
into
hours.
Final
There
Okay.
you go.
So
Fantasy.
4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours.
Look at that. We're all
Yeah.
spread out pretty evenly here. So
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
into Splatoon 3 side order. It is a roguelite DLC option for Splatoon 3. The reason I don't have more hours into Final Fantasy is because all day Saturday, literally, all I did was play this until I beat it. It must be something with roguelikes that I just enjoy, but the Splatoon 3 roguelike, I just think it's a couple things. Once it's done, I don't see myself going back to it. I'll be completely honest with all of that. I really don't see any reason to go back once it's done, but I had a lot of fun with it. Um, it's a single player roguelike, of course. It uses all the great mechanics that Splatoon already has with the ink, refilling the ink, swimming in the ink, shooting stuff with ink to do more damage. It's all right there. And what it does is it strips you down to like bare bones and gives you the option through your runs to upgrade things like your drone. So your drone can help you out or upgrade your damage or upgrade your there are all these upgrades that you can do during a run, and then when you die, of course, you get sent back to the bottom and you restart. Pretty much. You can of course do much like in Ragnarok, because I feel like there are a lot of parallels to Ragnarok with this. It's just you can unlock permanent upgrades that will help just make it easier in the long run for it. The real main thing that I just hate is compared to Ragnarok, where all three weapons are viable and they are good weapons. The Some of the weapons in Splatoon I can't stand. Uh, One of them is a bucket that splashes paint. That weapon sucks. So how they want you to do it is they want you to use these new weapons, and as you use newer weapons you can get keys to unlock more weapons. At one point I was like, you know what, I'm close enough to beating it, I'm gonna go with the weapon I like and just beat it. And then the thing is now I'm done with it, and I like I don't see the need to go and get more weapons or anything like that. So it is a fairly light experience. Again, it took me all day. It is challenging at upper floors. It's only 30 floors, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was very much worth my time, despite it. I thought it was part of the expansion pass. It is not. It's $30, so you got to buy it.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's steep.
it is. But I saw a
Jeez.
streamer play it, and I was like, oh, this looks like fun. So I did it.
Okay. Fair
There is enough good, but $30, just wait. Hopefully, Nintendo makes
Yeah.
it part of their NSO, or they maybe do a sale. But it's fun.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Then you got your $30 worth.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you definitely
I
did.
can see where people don't, for sure. But like, it's just the little touches to where like you change out your color palette when you pick out these abilities. So your character's hair color starts to change as you pick more orange than blue, and then your paint starts to change because you're picking more orange and blue. So you'll get like a mixture of the two. And let's say you like evenly distribute all the colors, you'll still be like this weird, almost grayish color throughout the entire thing. It's this neat little touch
Mm.
that really makes your run feel like a run when you're specializing your character, and the ink also changes the color of your character. It's a neat little touch.
All right.
Oh, most definitely.
But I just went on for a little bit about side order. I will let you guys talk about Final Fantasy VII first. Avoid, please, all spoilers.
Well, that'll
Everybody
be
dies
really
again.
easy to do since I have not done a single main mission yet, and I'm 8 hours in. I we were talking about this before we started recording, Barry, but I did not get the option to skip the intro, even though I did the demo, and I was a little annoyed by that. But when you skip the cutscenes, it ends up being like 10 minutes. I was a little worried when you do, if you played the demo, we all played the demo, we knew that part. And then it's just like, well, here's the open world. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, get to it. I think they literally say that. I think Aerith says, let's get to it. I was a little nervous because I was like, oh man, this is a lot. There's just so much to do. But I found very quickly that if you take something I hate, which is not gigantic, but open world with a ton of mundane things to do, but you paint it with Final Fantasy, I'm gonna love it. Which is it's so stupid. Because if this was like The Witcher, I would have been like, nope, I'm out of here. Or if it was Persona, nope. But since it's Final Fantasy, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get on my chocobo and I'm gonna ride here and I'm gonna do this. So far, having not really done any of the story, I like what I see. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
I think the combat is still done well. I see a lot of Final Fantasy 16 influence in this game.
Oh, heavily.
They pulled a lot, which is good. I am severely addicted to Queen's Blood, the card game.
Yes.
Oh my
Thank you
god.
for saying that. Thank you so
The
much.
Final Fantasy 8 card game is still the pinnacle for me. That'll always be
Oh, thank you for saying
that's the
that.
best one. But this one's number 2. It's like I don't even remember what it's called in Final Fantasy 8, but it's that one and Queen's Blood's right underneath it. Barry, I don't know if you've played any Queen's Blood yet.
Yeah, I've played the 3 matches in the town.
Okay. Oh boy, is that addicting. I could play that for like 50 hours. Not even kidding. Other than that, the side missions are varied enough that I enjoyed them. I enjoy just kind of running around the world, seeing the little stops and like putting the chocobo sign up is satisfying. Everything you do is satisfying, right?
Yeah.
My gripe so far is I think there's too much to manage. And it's starting to bother me a little bit. And what I mean by that is you go in and you're like, okay, I have to go to, I don't even remember what they're called. I have to go to these machines so that I can update my skill trees, right? I have that going on. At the same time, my weapon levels increases, which in turn changes the different abilities that I can attach to my weapons. I have my equipment, so my weapons and then my 2 other slots. Those all have materia that I can equip into them. Materia gains levels. What else am I missing? There's more. And then on top of that, it's like going through all your party members, and you don't even have them all yet. At least I don't. So there's more people coming, right?
Item crafting.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking. Going in and crafting items.
Yeah, there's now deck management with Queen's
Deck
Blood
management.
as well.
Yep.
Deck management.
There's just, I think it's too much. I personally think it's too much. Where I'm just like, a lot of times I'm like, I know I need to go in and change my skills and pick new ones, but I don't even have like the desire to go do it. I'm just like, I do all these side missions. I'm like, all right, before I get off, I'm going to go fast travel over here and I'm going to hit up this machine and I'm going to do my upgrades. Then I'm going to check my swords. Let me look at my materia real quick. All right, let me go sit on the bench and save. I'm like exhausted when I turn the game off. It's just, I just think it's too much, but it's not enough for me to hate the game. I'm just like annoyed. That's my first take.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You spend like 10 minutes. You could spend 10 minutes in the menu.
Yeah.
And that's way too long. And there's certain things like if you forget to attach, detach, or adjust your materia, then you got a materia that needs, I don't know what, let's say 1200 AP, and you're not leveling up with all the battles you're fighting because like you forgot to replace it.
Yep.
But that, then you go to Chadley. Chadley makes materia for you. You got to do the fights in his
Freaking
automated
Chadley.
world to get more materia. Chadley. They really gave him the one of the big parts this time. But I'm with you. I like where the variety of surrounding. You can kind of see the algorithm they have, which is you're going to get to a new area after passing through a specific linear path.
Yep.
Then you're going to open up into an area that's going to have all these towers that you unlock, Assassin's Creed
Yep.
style. Well, not technically Assassin's Creed style, but we see games do this all the time now. Horizon does it all that. You know, and then that's going to open up things that you can go to. You're going to want to get them done so that you can get better stuff.
Yep.
Like the game kind of doesn't tell you, but you see you do one thing and then you get it. And you're like, okay, yeah, like I need to do a lot more of like these varieties. And it's a great looking world, so I have no problem doing it. What I like that they did here is when you're comparing it to a lot of other Final Fantasy games, they gave the chocobos a huge spotlight
Yeah.
in this one. So like it's the things that you can do on a chocobo make it so that you really don't have to walk ever, which is great because these areas are
Yep.
huge. You can attack crates, you can pick up materials. Actually, you can pick up materials in a better way. If you get attacked or you go to attack something, you just get
Yeah.
off. Like there's not a lot. They even have some mini games chocobo related, which are actually pretty cool. When you're trying to actually get a new one, you kind of solid snake your way to like sneak up behind it. Um, I just got to Junon,
Mm-hmm.
so that's like the next larger area past the grasslands. And then I emerged from that section of the map, and like obviously trying to keep everything as cryptic as possible for people who hadn't played the original. But I emerged and I saw everything on the map, and I was like, oh boy, not again. Like
Yeah.
but it looks like that's what it's going to be. Other than that, I love the fluidity of the battles. They're great. I feel like they made Barrett more entertaining to play as. I don't know if it's just me or
Yep.
maybe I haven't played with because I haven't played with Barrett in 3 years, or 4 years, whatever it was. But I really kind of like it, Barry. I wish I had done the second demo like you did to get a little bit more practice because when I was playing as Red 13, I was not triggering his stuff right, in the beginning.
Yep.
But, in it now, there's a lot more fluidity and you still have that rush that you're hoping from a Final Fantasy real-time boss battle that we were getting in 16. Not exactly like 16,
Right.
but like the first big boss that you fight in the grasslands, I was definitely on the edge of my seat a little bit and I thought I hadn't leveled up enough by the way it was kicking my butt in the beginning of the battle. But
Yeah.
um it's good. Queen's Blood is addicting. It's really addicting. Even the manner in which the game is presented when you win, when you're playing it, it's really, really good. So there's a lot of stuff to keep you invested. It's a great game. It's a fantastic game so far. So
Yeah, for
you took
for me being
go ahead,
4 hours in, like the main thing that I just find sometimes a little bit uh annoying is kind of the forced like sections where you have to stop, like you're just crawling. So like
Mm-hmm.
for example, during that chocobo minigame, I get it's a minigame, but Cloud does not need to be moving as slow as he is. Like they should I feel like there is a in between where I should be able to press a button to crouch and then I can just walk when they're not near me because I end up just spam rolling
That's what I
in
did.
order
Yep.
to in order to do it. Like it is a little bit annoying when like you're going kind of fast paced, you continue to learn and you're going and then you're forced to kind of halt
Yeah.
and forced to go at the pace that the game makes you take. For example, the whole and this one didn't bother me as much, but when you're in the first city area and you're doing like the whole walking on the banisters to get to the hotel,
Yep.
like I didn't mind it because it's part of the scene and I get that it's like action oriented, but Cloud is slow.
Yep.
It is, I know they're forcing you to do this, but sometimes I just wish a little bit faster, a little faster stealth walk would be nice.
I
But
agree.
I did want to ask you, and I'm not sure if you guys just opened right up to it, but the game was doing this weird thing at the point where you open the door to the open world. Cloud was like ghosting for
Oh,
me, so
really?
I could see an after image of his sword. That's got to be something with the code of the
Probably.
game.
Yeah.
But I thought something was wrong. I was like, why is this happening? Of course, the moment you go into the open world, it all stops. Uh,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah.
didn't know if you guys noticed that because I was like, wait, why is Cloud's sword in 7 different places? Like, I get that I'm having stuff like there's stuff going on with my eyes right now, so I get that. I get that I'm not all right in there, but it's I was like, there's something physically wrong with the game. I don't think it's just me. So
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys noticed it, but you didn't. So maybe it is just me.
Do you guys at times like when I'm on the chocobo, right? And I'm like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to this next thing. I almost forget that I'm playing Final Fantasy because it feels like I'm playing Horizon because I'm like, well, I'm riding by and picking up stuff to craft. I'm like, oh, I'm playing
Yeah.
Horizon over here. Like the Horizon DNA is thick in this
Yeah.
game.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think,
Thick.
Yeah. You're
and
right.
I think from what I remember, one of the directors of this game like was saying that Zero Dawn was one of his favorite
Okay.
portions of
You
things.
can see it.
And
Well,
Yeah.
the
there it is.
moment I opened it up, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is very Horizon like." I'm very interested because just this is something for me to do.
Hmm?
I'm going like it is a very pretty game. I want to see like the stark contrast between like the density of
Yeah.
Rebirth and the density of Forbidden West. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Both worlds are pretty in their own right, but man, this grassland section is dense. It
It
is
is.
it is a lot. The game's pretty. That is 150% for
Are you?
sure.
Do you guys have it in performance mode
Graphics.
Graphics.
don't put it in performance mode?
Yeah,
I'm sure it does
everyone
not
I've
look
seen
great.
says don't.
Is it bad?
It's bad.
Okay.
There
No,
has
I
to be
want
a
it to
patch
look as
coming
I
to
want it to
fix
look
it.
as pretty as possible.
Yeah,
Like
there has to be a
Yeah.
patch coming to fix it, but
yeah.
Yeah. It's quite noticeable.
Okay.
Like I don't have the best eye, but even for me, it's quite
Okay.
noticeable. Definitely keep it in performance mode.
Also, Barry, I know you had texted us and said like at the intro you were like audibly yelled, right?
yes, yeah.
Because your favorite character showed up.
Hmm.
Um, without, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a side mission with characters that you've seen from the previous game. They were like bottom tier villains, and Craig will know what I'm talking about. There's like 4 separate side missions where you keep having to hunt them down. You did that one, Craig? Okay.
Yeah, I finished
The
that one.
item you get at the end, and then like you get like a little flashback or like a little thing. I audibly yelled because I knew exactly who that was, and I went, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in."
Yeah.
I was so excited when I saw that, and Barry,
Yeah, that's a good
it'll
one.
be you'll do it, and you'll be like, "I okay," but to me, I was like, I know exactly where they're going, and I can't wait to get there because I know who that is. But yeah, I was so pumped for that, so pumped.
Yeah. That was a good little scene. And it was worth it too, because you literally track that group of
It's
people
annoying.
all over
It's
that
annoying.
map.
Yeah,
Like all 4 completely different
the
spots
corners
of the
pretty
map.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just something
Um,
wild.
Craig, there's one last thing I wanted to touch
Yeah.
back on before I forget. You said that you were not given an option when you were playing
Mm-mm.
to
Just skip. And I even did the check for DLC stuff.
yeah, and even at the point because like I had to look it up
Mm-hmm.
online because it just seems I don't know if I'm just basic minded. I probably am, but I would think that if you played through that awesome demo, that the game starts and then it says, "Do you want to skip?" But then I looked it up, and it was like, "No, you have to play. You have to get to the part where she's showing you
Mm-hmm.
around. You do your first battle. After your first battle, it's going to ask you to skip." I finished the first battle. There was a couple of lines between Cloud and Tifa, and then it said skip, and I was like, "Oh my god, thank God, because I don't want to do that again."
Yeah, I did get that.
You didn't get that?
Mm-mm. I was bummed too because
Wow.
you had texted and said that, and I was looking for it, and I was like, okay, I got that. You get the prompt that's like, hey, do you want to check for your DLC or demo progress? So I went into the start menu and I was like, yep. And then it pulled that stuff down for me. It's like, hey, you completed this, so you'll get this when you get to a certain point. And then I was like, all right. So I was doing the Tifa stuff, and I'm like, where's the skip? and it just kept going, and I was like, what is happening? And I was just skipping every cutscene. So like to get from the demo to like the end of the demo is probably like 15 minutes. But I was
Yeah.
annoyed. I'm like, why do I have to play this again? I already did it.
Yeah.
So I was literally like, all right, let me spam these missions. Let me spam this boss battle. All right, skip. I had to do that god awful walking through the town burning.
Yes.
So
Yes.
slow. Oh my god. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
again, that forced slowness
it's so
is
bad.
like
Yeah.
it is sometimes just like what takes you out of it. Like
Yeah.
it is so much of Cloud limping through all
And the
of that.
crawl
Oh
on the
man, the
ground,
crawl, like the
Oh, the
L2 and
crawl.
R2.
crawl.
Get out of
Yeah.
here with that.
The interactive crawl. Like I gotta hold that button, bro. Come
Stop.
on.
And the my personal favorite is the turning of the vent. You remember that from the demo? Where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my god! I know it's a loading screen, but like, give me a break. Yeah, but besides
Yeah.
that, I think so far so good. I haven't seen much of the story yet. Obviously, that's where I'm hoping to go this week. I don't know what the actual like playtime is if you're not trying to platinum this game. 80 probably.
I think I've
Somewhere
seen
around.
40,
Yeah, that would
40
depend.
to 60.
Okay.
Which would make sense because I don't know. There's like 8 hours.
Yeah.
8 hours to do all the stuff in the beginning. I mean, I'm 10 hours in, and like definitely 8 were in the grasslands.
Yeah.
Just doing every single
I mean,
thing
if
that
it's
they had
about
off.
8 to clear out every section, I'm fine with that. I did not have a point where I was like, this is going on too long. I was having fun. And like I highly anticipate that I will spend so much time at this isn't a spoiler, but like the Golden Saucer when we get there. I'm gonna spend so much time there with all the mini games.
Mm,
Like you
yeah,
best believe I'm gonna spend about 10 hours in there.
there's probably a Queen's Gambit Haven just
I
waiting
don't
for
even
us
care
there. Yeah,
if you don't.
or
For
Queen's
those who
Blood.
don't know, like in the original, when you got to the Golden Saucer, there was all these mini games. There was a snowboarding mini game. There was like a wrestling. There was chocobo racing. And if you wanted to do the chocobo racing and get the best chocobo, it was like 20 hours. So you
Mm,
best. I can't wait to get to that stuff. Cannot wait. That's what I. That's why I bought the game was the Golden Saucer. Let's be honest.
yes,
But yeah, Final Fantasy, man, pretty good.
Final Fantasy
Game
Rebirth.
of the year so
Right,
far?
definitely.
What else came out this year?
Yeah. I'd say so.
I still I still say Infinite Wealth is going to be in my top
I think
5
so.
by the end of
Yeah,
the year too.
agreed. Fair enough.
All right, so then we go into what we watched this week. I won't get into too much of what I'm doing. So, I, in honor of Pokemon Day, I am going to rank all of the Pokemon movies. I'm gonna
Oh
watch
God.
them all.
Okay.
So I am not at the point yet where I have watched them all, but I am now getting through the first. Is it the first 3? Yeah, they are. So
Pokemon
I am
2000.
a Pokemon 2000.
Ooh, I remember waiting in that line.
The Pokemon 3 with
Ooh,
Entei and
Yep.
Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Mewtwo
So I
Strikes
will.
Back's phenomenal.
It,
Does the Detective Pikachu get on that list?
yes, Detective Pikachu will be
Okay.
on that list.
All right,
It's
cool.
technically I don't
Great
even
movie.
have to add that, to be honest,
Mhm.
because it's not in the animated Pokemon
Sure.
list that I have here. But I'm doing the impossible thing of trying to get some of these movies physically.
Good luck.
And it is tough.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, I
because
bet.
like some of this like the blue I'd like to get them in Blu-ray, but some of them you just can't. I have to bite the bullet and get them
Didn't
on
the
DVD.
originals come out on like a double
So
or triple pack?
so the first 3 I have their steelbook Blu-rays.
Okay. Okay.
But then it was 4, 5, 6, and 7 that are in like a 4-box DVD collection.
Okay.
I
I don't
you can
remember
get
those
them
in
pretty easily.
theaters. Were they in theaters?
I don't think Pokemon Forever.
I
I
don't-
remember the
I don't
first
think-
3 were.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But expect Pokemon 2000 very high on my list. That movie still
That's
is a
amazing.
banger. That
It's
movie.
amazing.
That's a banger. That was totally
This
worth
is
the entire wait.
ageless. This movie is
Mhm.
ageless, is what it is. I'd watch it.
Yes.
I could watch this movie all the time. It's ridiculous.
Okay. So I had some time Thursday and Friday. I watched. I'm just gonna keep bringing it up because I'm mad. I watched Lisa Frankenstein and Lovely, Dark, and Deep.
Okay. I took a page out of the Craig Reeson family book,
Uh-oh.
and I watched Mean Girls,
Yes.
the
Okay.
movie, the
Are you
Mean
gonna be on
movie
my
Girls.
side or my family side? That's what I want to know.
Spoiler alert: I'm on yours.
Okay, fair enough. So you did, Barry? Did you watch the Pokemon movies or what?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
watched all of them, but I don't have my
Okay.
ranking yet.
Okay, that's fair. Except that Pokemon 2000 is the best Pokemon movie ever made.
Wait, I got to see the other ones.
Wow.
Look, there is a lot
No.
of these I have
No,
never
no.
seen.
Nope. You don't need to. It's Pokemon 2000. End of
We'll
story.
see when my list comes out. See what happens when my
Okay.
list comes out.
We shall see.
All
My
right.
list will be the definitive list. I'm
That's
on
fair.
here right
His-
now.
his
This is
list?
the list.
I agree.
His list.
Every Pokemon gamer will go to this list to see what movies are the
It's
best.
It sounds like he does declare. Do you declare?
I do
Yeah,
declare.
I'm even gonna sit through the Netflix like weird
Don't
one
do that.
that I have to do. I'm gonna sit through it, and I'm gonna do it. I'm letting
Okay.
everybody know right now.
All right, that's fair. Lisa Frankenstein. This was an interesting one that I've had my eye on for a little bit. The return of Dylan Sprouse. Everybody likes Dylan Sprouse, right? Yeah.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So both of these movies that I'm talking about, I think could have the term cult classic written on them.
Okay.
Lisa Frankenstein is a very 80s style. It's not a horror movie, like just an 80s comedy. I guess it's like a girl in high school who is like the different, like the old girl, the goth girl, who hangs out at the cemeteries, and there's this one gravestone that she always hangs out on, and during a storm he gets resurrected from the grave, Dylan Sprouse's character. And it's a lot of like, he gets resurrected and he's missing a hand, he's missing an ear, so like he can't talk. He used to play piano, but he can't because he only has one hand. And they kind of form like this friendship, but it's a very like campy humor where like he kills somebody and takes their ear, and then she sews it on. But in order for it to work, he has to be electrocuted, just like Frankenstein. And there's her friend has a tanning bed that short circuits, so she just continuously puts him in the tanning bed to shock him. I thought it was really good. It's very funny. It's 100% a cult classic. I would say it's not a horror movie, so I think everybody could watch it. It's a good time. It's very funny, very, very funny. So go check that one out. I was gonna go see it in theaters, and then I totally forgot. And then I was like, oh, it's on digital already. Let me scoop that up real quick. But I think I might actually buy it on like Blu-ray when it comes out, just to have it, because I feel like it may be harder to find. Lovely, Dark, and Deep is a horror movie. And let me just say this, because I looked it up. The director was, I think it's actually the writer as well. Her name is Teresa Sutherland. She worked on Midnight Mass, if you know Midnight Mass on Netflix. So
I haven't watched it, but I know
it has a very big, good reputation for the most part. It deals with a lady who is a park ranger, and there's a lot going on. This, if you do not pay attention to this movie, you're going to get lost. It's one of those movies where like I'm going to probably watch it again to kind of get everything. She becomes a park ranger because her sister, when she was younger, went off into the woods and disappeared. The whole thing with this area where she works in is people disappear constantly, and then nobody can find them, but then randomly they'll find their shoes, like in places they've already looked. They'll just be like, oh my God, there's shoes. But nobody knows where they're going. And I don't want to give a whole lot away because it's more about like figuring out what's going on. It's a very slow burn. I'll put that out there. It's an hour and a half. The first 45 minutes are slow. But then when it starts getting into what's actually happening and you start seeing like some very weird imagery and that kind of stuff, that's where I really liked it. But what I want to say is for this movie and this writer-director, Teresa Sutherland, Remedy, you need to go get a hold of her if you want to make an Alan Wake movie, because this is the closest thing to an Alan Wake movie I could ever think of. like her walking around the woods, like the weird, like if you think about playing Alan Wake 2 and it's like dark and like weird stuff's happening and like flipping your flashlight around and seeing somebody behind you, like that's what this movie is. I was like, oh my god, this is like Alan Wake almost. Like it's very weird, uh hard to follow at times, and then you get to the end just like in Alan Wake and you're like, what did I just play, or what did I just watch? I really really enjoyed it, and I think it's because I love Alan Wake. So all of us like Alan Wake here. I would say give it a shot. I fully understand if either one of you were to watch it and come back and be like, I hated it. You know what I mean? Like it was I don't get it. It's and maybe it is hard to follow, so maybe I'm just like wanting to like it more because it reminded me of Alan Wake. But I thought it was incredible. So I would love for you guys to watch it. Barry, you played Alan Wake. You're good. You can watch horror movies now.
You essentially could do anything
can.
scary
You
after
can.
playing
You
Alan
can.
Wake. You've also played Resident Evil 8. Let's remind the world that you
You're
did.
fully involved now. But yeah, lovely, dark, and deep. At least I'll say this. At least Craig, like search that movie out and watch it and tell me what you think, because I need to know.
I'm already,
Yeah, your thought processes
yeah, I'm already
on
looking
it.
it
Okay,
up.
cool. Go check that out for sure. Barry, you can
Okay.
watch it too, please.
I might just have to go.
You could do
might have to
anything.
go over to Craig's place and watch it. I don't
That's
know if I'll
fine.
watch
If you
it
want to
alone.
come over here and watch
you
it, I
go.
will put it on.
Yeah. All right, Mean Girls. We already had a wonderful take from you, Craig, and I was like, my Leanne and I were thinking about you and your family while we were watching it, because we arrived on your side of the table,
Okay.
so we did not see like the Mean Girls like theater production.
Mm-hmm.
So all we have is the original movie, which is we love
Yeah.
as much as everybody else does from that time frame. It's an iconic 2000s movie. It's one of the funniest things, at least in that
For
decade.
sure.
And that's when I realized I liked Tina Fey, because like around that age, you're starting to remember actors and actresses a lot more than when we were in, like, let's say 10 years old, that area, when we were younger. But in any case, it's good. It's a really, really good movie. It's not going to be like a movie of the year for
Sure.
me. I like musicals. I like the dialogue parts, and then it transitions with a music cue or one of the actors or actresses like saying the same line over and over to let you know they're transitioning into a song. This one had a lot of great transitions that were either funny or whimsical. But if we're thinking Renee Rapp,
Mm-hmm.
is it just me, or was she just I know she's in the actual like theater like group or the production, but does she seem leagues among everybody
Oh yeah.
else?
Yeah.
She also has a really popular song out with Megan Thee Stallion.
She does.
Ooh,
Yep. Yeah, she
okay.
killed that role.
She so like in the original flick, my favorite person is not Regina George.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, my favorite person was Regina George.
Yep.
Like by far. By far. And I think it's a combination of her singing talent. I think it was well acted by her. I didn't mind Katie. And like a lot of the other characters were nice and standard. Shout out to John Hamm just being in it.
Yeah, for no reason.
Like just John Hamm and being like a really, really raunchy, like, what was he, like a phys ed, sex ed teacher kind of
That's how
combination?
they
That's what I
always were
got.
in high school. That's what they were. Phys
Yep.
ed,
Yeah, the
phys ed
Yep.
did the sex ed. Yes.
Yep.
It was read to you on your first day, like, this is also what you'll be teaching as well.
Yes.
Um, but it was really, really good. Also, I'm not normally a fan of well, not I'm not saying not a fan, but I'm trying to remember her name. What's her name? Oh, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Not always the one that I always think. I had to look it up real quick again, but not always the one that I'm thinking of first when I'm thinking of the Plastics, but like that
Oh,
song
it's
that she
great.
has, it's the best song.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of
Yep.
them. It's definitely like top 2 songs. And it was like it was really, really fun, and like, it's at like at that Halloween party, so it's just it was just really, really well done. But for front to back, it's an enjoyable film. It really is. I can understand how certain people wouldn't like it, especially if you're deep into Mean Girls lore. Um, you could find things to really pick at. If you're deep into, like the play version, you could find things to pick at. I, as somebody who just saw the film and probably watched it maybe 10 times in my lifetime, I really enjoyed
Yeah.
this. I really, really did. And my wife did too. And she's definitely the Mean Girls expert of the house. Definitely the Mean Girls expert of the house. So it's a good watch. I think everybody should maybe not do what we did and buy it for 25 digitally, even though your wife is going to want it in a physical version. So we're going to have two copies.
Yep.
We just couldn't wait. But it's definitely I really enjoyed it.
All right. Sick. Well, that's going to be it for the podcast this week. Spent a lot more time on Pokemon news than I expected, but we're here for it. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you would feel so inclined, please review us on your podcast listening platform of choice. Leave a like, a review, share it with a friend you think that might like it. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below on how you also think Legends is the worst Pokemon game, or how the forced slowness of Final Fantasy is actually great art and storytelling. I need all of these takes.
There you go.
We appreciate everyone who supports us, and we will be seeing you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.